All right, week 14, Sunday afternoon football. We have been treated too well. Every time the NFL gets close to Christmas, the games just get better and better and better. And obviously, the playoffs are approaching, so they're more intense. They mean more. But it was just an awesome day. It really was. From top to bottom, we watched Bills, Bengals early slate, Ravens, Steelers early slate. Then we got treated to Bears, Packers in a game where I don't think a lot of people thought the Bears would actually be competitive. Like, could they beat Philly? They did. Could they beat the Packers? Well, they went toe-to-toe with them today. It's pretty clear that they're actually not a joke. We got a lot to talk about. I'm actually in the Christmas spirit today, so if you're watching here on YouTube or on Spotify with the video, I got a flannel on. This is my first flannel in my collection. It's black and white. It's more my style, but I dress very athlete-centered, I would say. Some of my friends told me you got to spice things up. You don't want to look like the Grinch. You want to be supporting the Christmas spirit. So I'm trying to spice things up. I'm trying to add a little bit of sriracha here. If I look ridiculous, I apologize. But I hope you appreciate my effort. We're closing in on Christmas. I hope you're getting some plans together. If you're going on vacation, I wish you all the best wherever you're going. If not, spend some time with family, friends, and obviously watch some damn football. It's JV show for the 14th consecutive week on the podcast. It's been a phenomenal year, and like I said, it's just getting better and better weekly. We got so much to talk about, so thank you for being with me. If you love the content, please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. It means so much. Before we get things started, I would like to shout out my sponsor for the season, Big Third Down Shop. So they hooked me up with a bunch of really cool NFL-branded hats you'll see circulated through my episodes. Most often, this JV Show one, which is embroidered. They fit great. They look great. Go get yourself an early Christmas gift. The link is in my bio to shop the hats. They got every single NFL team. Go grab yourself one. Without further ado, ladies, gentlemen, we are starting with the Buffalo Bills 39, Bengals 34. Come on, bring it on. I love it. I had said last week and the weeks prior that I still don't believe in the Bills. The Bills are my team. I love the Buffalo Bills. I want us to win so damn bad. I want Josh Allen to get his deserved Super Bowl trophy. I want it all. Unfortunately, when I look at this team, specifically on paper and when I watch them play, most often than not, I see a team that is not fully equipped to go to a Super Bowl. I see a team that has weaknesses. I still don't think we have receivers. I still think our defense is sketchy, but they played great today. I still don't trust the play calling, but when Josh Allen plays like that, when Josh Allen puts us on his back, which it's incredible to watch, but it's not ideal, but it is awesome. When our defense can show up and force turnovers and put points on the board, that's a Buffalo Bills brand of football that I'm not really used to in the playoffs. I'm not used to seeing a defense that can make game-winning plays come the playoffs, and we haven't seen it. But if we can do that, if we can replicate that, geez, it's going to be hard to beat. And when you got Josh playing at an MVP level, not on the entire year, but just from a game-to-game perspective, I mean, today it was clear he's the best quarterback in football. I don't think that's a debate at this point. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league. I don't want you throwing dumb names at me right now. Lamar, Joe Burrow was phenomenal today. We'll talk about him right away. Even Mahomes. Listen, Mahomes will always be up there, right? He'll always be that guy you never want to bet against. In a must-have situation, you go Mahomes. But right now, nobody in the league takes over games like Josh Allen. Nobody has to do so much with so little. Keon Coleman, Shakir, he's throwing the ball to. My full respect goes to those guys, but hey, at best, they are number two options. What quarterback can throw 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, and also take a 40-yard run to the house and seal the game on a 3rd and 15 scramble. Josh Allen does everything and more. He is a real-life takeover character. It's like playing Madden with him. He's genuinely the best right now in the league. Like, peak for peak, there is nobody that stacks up to Josh Allen. And look at what he's working with. James Cook is great. Outside of that, pretty much nothing elite offensively. Great offensive line, I'll give him that. But he does all the heavy lifting for this offense. He's clutch. He puts up the numbers. He has unreal performances. He passes the eye test. He's a future Hall of Famer. And when you got that, obviously anything is on the table. As far as playoffs go, as far as the Super Bowl goes, I don't love our team. I like that we have fight, which is great. I thought that we fought today and we were obviously rewarded. But at the same time, they concern me a lot. There have been weaknesses on weaknesses on weaknesses for years now. Our secondary, we'll talk about them right away. They're going to need to step up. This defense is going to have to play great football. And at the end of the day, it's going to have to be Josh Allen carrying us. Like, that's just what it is. We're not going to win in the playoffs if he doesn't. And I think he's up for it. I think he can absolutely do it. But now it's like, okay, we have that. We need guys to step up. Because we've asked Josh Allen to do that in previous years, and he's done it. But we still lose. Because in those tight conference championship games, you need a little bit more. It's not just a one-man army. So for Buffalo, what we saw today, that's what Buffalo needs to do in the playoffs. We need to get that every single week. The defense was unreal in the fourth quarter. Benford is a dog. Josh Allen has the offense and the team on his back weekly. We're going to need some role players to step up for us to win. Maxwell Hairston. Heron Johnson. The secondary cannot fold. Because we got cooked today. Mike Gesicki was dunking on us. T. Higgins, dot after dot after dot. We couldn't stop it. James Cook has to secure the ball. 4 fumbles in 2 weeks. That's not going to cut it. That has to be cleaned up. And McDermott's got to lock himself in. I'm not sure why we're running man coverage in the red zone against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, but we were. I'm not sure why we came out so flat in our home stadium and we looked like we hadn't practiced in the winter. We looked like we hadn't been acclimatized to the weather in Buffalo. I was concerned. That first quarter, I was like, uh-oh, we're preparing for another rant on the show today. And honestly, I wasn't up for it. I'm in the Christmas spirit. I'm jolly. I'm excited for the presents, for the family gatherings. I didn't want to rant, and I'm not going to. I feel great. But in order for us to take the next step, we need Buffalo as a team to say, hey, we got our guy at the front. We trust Josh Allen. Who's going to be the guy that steps up now? Who's going to be our guy for 3 or 4 straight playoff games that locks in and helps us go the distance? So that's my thoughts on Buffalo. I would name my kid Josh Allen. The only reason we're a playoff team is because we have Josh Allen. He's changed this franchise. He's one of those guys that you call generational. He's not the MVP this year, but holy crap, would Buffalo be screwed without him? Do you understand how many people would be unemployed without Josh Allen in Buffalo? At least 30 to 50% of the organization. And I'm not even joking. I'm not over-exaggerating that number. He should be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL for a good reason. Because honestly, he's been spectacular when you look at how he's gone from year 1 to whatever he's in now, year 8. You look at his growth from his rookie year to now, it's spectacular what he's done. Where he started to where he's now finished and cruising at this point. I said this about Mahomes a few weeks ago. I don't need the constant reassurance that I feel like I do with, I don't know, like a Jalen Hurts that, hey, he can pass the ball consistently. I still feel like I'm waiting for that consistency with Hurts, right? That consistency of like, okay, we can handle 30-plus attempts game after game after game. Josh, it doesn't matter for me. He can have off days. He can have 4 to 5 game stretches where he just looks like crap. But I know in the big moments, he's the guy you turn to, and he'll be there. Which is awesome to have. You know, it's great to have a quarterback like that. Now it's let's capitalize season. Now it's time to get it going when Lamar's down and out with the Ravens, when the Chiefs are down and out right now. They're on the outside looking in. It's the time, right? It's time for Josh Allen to hit takeover mode and for the Bills to go all in. The Bengals today, listen, I know a lot of people get after Joe Burrow for the slow starts in the seasons and the fact that they've missed the playoffs for a few years now. We'll talk about them as a franchise, but I want to make this statement very clear. Joe Burrow has always been a top 5 quarterback. Always. That has never changed. He lost Cincinnati that game with 2 interceptions, back to back. If he doesn't throw those picks today, they win the game. And let that be a lesson to people who say a singular call by the refs doesn't make or break a game. It absolutely can. A single play doesn't absolutely make or break a game. It absolutely can. Because when you get to the NFL level, and when you watch more and more football, which is obviously something I've found myself doing over these past few years, and I'm not saying I'm this expert, but what I've realized is games are so damn close that just the slightest detail, just a singular play can seriously alter the outcome of a game. And that's what it was today. The Bengals had us. They had our number for 3 straight quarters. But Joe Burrow with back-to-back interceptions, one of them a pick 6, that's going to end your chances right there. And when you got a guy like Josh Allen on the other sideline, it's tough to come back from that. But I will say, outside of those back-to-back picks, he looked like a Hall of Fame quarterback today. Nobody in the NFL can do what Joe Burrow does right now with his arm. Rodgers and Stafford, I would say, are the closest. But the ability to thread the needle with pinpoint accuracy, the pressure doesn't faze him. He's confident with his ball placement. He's clutch as hell. It is a disgrace where this team is with Joe Burrow as their QB. How many times today, if you watched the game, were you in awe watching Joe Burrow drop pass after pass in the bucket to Gesicki, to T. Higgins, you name it? He threw back-to-back interceptions and then a dime to Gesicki on the seam and then to T. Higgins in the end zone. He's just not fazed. His confidence, it doesn't go anywhere when he makes a few bad plays. He's got ice in his veins. He's the best pocket passer in the NFL. And I give credit to Stafford, and I'm going to give credit to Rodgers today for the job that they've done this year. But holy smokes, is it pretty pathetic that the Bengals, with Jamar, with T. Higgins, with Joe Burrow, still can't make the playoffs. I mean, this was a must-win week for them. And it's not even the stats that tell the story about Joe Burrow being elite. If you genuinely just sit back on any given Sunday, past like week 3, I don't know what the slow starts to the season mean for Burrow. Like maybe he just needs to get in a rhythm. I don't know, but it happens every year. But if you genuinely just sit down, watch a full Joe Burrow game, you will be amazed. You will be amazed. The windows he finds on the field, he makes a receiver's job so simple. You don't need separation. All you need is to work your way downfield. All you need to do is run the right route, and the ball will be in your hands. You don't need elite separation off the line. You don't need elite speed. Joe Burrow will find you. For Joe Burrow, there's no such thing as separation. It's just, where are the hands? Where can I place this football? And he does it. Game after game after game. And it's pretty incredible. But like I said, 3 straight years missing the playoffs with Burrow, Chase, and Higgins is embarrassing. It is disgraceful. This team has been blessed with 3 elite players, 2 first-team all-pro caliber guys that run the offense for you. Screw the offensive coordinator, give it to Joe Burrow and Jamar, and they will put up 30 points for you weekly. Why are they ruining their careers? I would be fed up if I were anybody in that trio. Week after week, it's heartbreaking loss after heartbreaking loss. And sure, this week was on Joe Burrow. But the last 3 years have not been. He hasn't had a defense. He doesn't get protection. He is a generational arm talent going to waste. One of the biggest talents going to waste in sports is Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. Because he doesn't have the support to go the distance. And today, again, they still put up 34 points. I know he had 2 bad interceptions, but a Philly defense would be able to cover that. You know, a Houston Texans defense who right now have held the Chiefs to 0 points in the second quarter right now, they would be able to help Joe Burrow out with those 2 interceptions. You don't have that reliability in Cincinnati. You do not have the wiggle room to be anything less than perfect. And I think that's what makes Joe Burrow that much better. He understands that he's got to be the guy, and he's got to be on game after game after game, and he usually is. And today I would say he was for 95% of the game. But like I said, you throw an interception or 2, and with that Bengals defense, you're pretty much screwed. And again today, with another brutal loss for Cincinnati, I will repeat myself that the Bengals must get rid of Zach Taylor. Get Zach Taylor out. Bring in a defensive guru and let him go to work. Let him develop this defense. Josh Allen, who's a well-known mobile quarterback, took a 40-yard running touchdown to the house, then iced the game on a 3rd and 15 scramble with not a single QB spy on the field. Linebackers were nowhere to be found. For reference, the Steelers today had 2 QB spies in the red zone on Lamar Jackson. That is proper coaching. And I've ran my mouth about Mike Tomlin, but that is proper coaching. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are the offense. Screw the line. Screw anybody else. If you got those guys, you're guaranteed the points you need. And if Zach Taylor can improve the defense, get the hell out. Because you don't need to be there for the offense. And there's no accountability. And I don't like his leadership skills. I don't like the way he talks about his team and his players in the press conferences. Go get a defensive coach. Somebody requested Brian Flores. I don't mind it. The Seahawks went and handpicked Mike McDonald for that defense, and look what they've done since. If you got a guy like that who built a young core on defense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, oh my goodness, they would be dangerous. That would be really tough to stop. So again, this game today, the loss, it's going to fall on Burrow. It happens. But big picture, Joe Burrow's the franchise guy. future Hall of Famer. Unbelievably talented. Brought you to a Super Bowl. Zach Taylor, unnecessary in my opinion. You could do a lot better. Defense has to be better because not ever winning anything with Joe Burrow would be brutal. To put it bluntly, it would be brutal. Let's go Steelers 27, Ravens 22. I will admit, I was an idiot and ran my mouth about Rodgers in the offseason saying he's washed. Aaron Rodgers still has an elite arm. And he's proving me and every other hater wrong. And I'm willing to admit it. He's still an elite pocket passer, and his mobility and sack evasion is well above average considering his age. That's the most shocking part about his game. I don't think it's the arm talent, because I feel like that's the last to go usually. But this season, the ability to maneuver the pocket and break out of sacks. Like today, there was this one play that's kind of slipping my mind right now, but I do remember vaguely watching Rodgers pretty much get taken down, but all of a sudden he spins out and completes it for a first down, and I was just like, who am I watching? You know, like a guy at that age shouldn't be able to do that, but he has done it pretty much all year long. His throw on the run this year has been phenomenal. Multiple passes today to DK Metcalf that felt AI generated. They were so perfect. He was effortlessly slinging and dumping the ball right into the bucket. Just imagine he had a duo like Puka and Devontae Adams, the damage he could do, the numbers he would put up. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter because the Steelers aren't going anywhere, but good for Rodgers for proving me and everyone else wrong and showing us that he can still do it at an elite level. I think with the proper team, and I don't think the Steelers have it, I think this team has wildcard knockout written all over it with Tomlin and the history there. But with the proper team and a few more weapons, because really it's DK and whoever else Aaron can work with. Like he's made some connections there, but it's nothing crazy. And the run game I wouldn't say is out of this world. It's an average offense. Imagine Rodgers with, like I said, a Puka and Devontae Adams. Could be extremely dangerous. Or last year, if it wasn't New York, but the same weapons and a real O-line, could be something. Could be something. I think Aaron's been really impressive. The funny thing is that the Steelers will keep giving their fans hope, and I absolutely love it. I do, because their fans, I mean, I'm not sure, because I've posted videos over the years about Mike Tomlin, and I get mixed reviews. Some of the fans tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, and they're a great franchise, and they've had winning season after winning season. And other fans will tell me that I'm right, and Mike Tomlin just isn't the answer anymore, and the lack of success in the playoffs calls for his firing or calls for the Steelers to move off him. Listen, at the end of the day, the Steelers will always give you an honest effort. They will be a team that wins 8 to 9 games, sometimes 10, 11, depending on the year. But it's just never anything more than that. In a game like this, you watch and you're like, hey, we shut down Lamar. We looked great offensively. We had some play calls that really just went our way. We had guys wide open. We had Rodgers slinging the rock. But then you look at last week and you're reminded that you're a very average team that got ran over by the same run play like 30 times in the same game with James Cook, who put up like 250 on you. So the fans will continue to be fed hope, but I think at this point they're smart enough to realize that it's the same damn story recycled every single year. And this was just a gritty divisional win that gives you the edge for the playoffs, but is that the best for the future of this team when you don't have a sustainable long-term option at quarterback yet? You don't know because Rodgers, who knows how long he's around for, but definitely not too much longer. And are you going to get to the championship level with him? I personally highly doubt it. But that's just my personal opinion. On the other side of the ball today, the Ravens, who had control over the division, now are on the outside looking in, now are in an interesting spot because of how they started the year. I want to say they started 1-5, and now it's a little sketchy. Luckily, the AFC isn't as loaded as it has been in previous years. There's an opportunity for the Ravens to go out and still make the playoffs, but when you don't control your own destiny, and I believe they have fallen out of the playoff picture at this point, it's a little concerning. You know, your heart starts to race a little bit. Today, that first half, I mean, I'm watching Lamar play, and even last week on Thanksgiving, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what's happened all year long, but something is off with Lamar Jackson. I don't know if it's the injury that is causing him to regress, but I feel like all year long, like, he's just not scary this year. I don't know why. He looks uncomfortable in the pocket. He's holding the ball forever. Now, we're not going to blame this loss on Lamar. Rashad Bateman has butter sticks for fingers, dropped what would have been a touchdown to put them up. Likely's touchdown, which was called back, was absolutely ridiculous. But that early interception, what the hell was that? And he's missing easy layup passes. Like, he dirted a ball with Derrick Henry wide open with 20 to 30 yards of freedom. He's also not working with anything special. His receiver room is at best average. Zay Flowers is a lower end wide receiver one. And outside of that, it's a washed up DeAndre Hopkins. Mark Andrews and Likely are really good, but they're not elite options. He's never had a true number one guy. And I wouldn't refer to Zay Flowers as that personally because, you know, we watch Jefferson and Chase and Puka and JSN. I don't view Zay Flowers as one of those guys in that conversation. So that's what I mean when I say Lamar hasn't worked with a true number one. Like I said, it's totally fair to say his injuries have heavily affected his performance because he started the year looking absolutely phenomenal, and since he's come back, it's been average. But there's something off with his game. I'm not saying that he's regressing. I might have just said that it looks like he's regressed. I'm not saying as a player he's regressing, but the product on the field will tell you that it's not the same as what we've seen these past few years. It's not the dominance we've seen, the 40 passing touchdowns to the 4 interception ratio we saw last year. Maybe part of it is the balance of the offense, and I found last year a lot of his success came when they started running the ball early and they imposed their will with running the rock with Derrick Henry and Lamar, which opened up pass lanes downfield. I haven't watched the Ravens too closely besides these last few weeks, but when I have watched Lamar, it's been pretty clear to me that something's off. He doesn't look comfortable. He's trying to do too much. Maybe they're just trying to force his arm. I don't know what it is. But I'll tell you one thing. If they miss the playoffs, if Baltimore misses the playoffs, I'm done with Harbaugh. I think it's clear cut I'm done with Harbaugh. Missing the playoffs at any point with Lamar just seems like a collapse on the coaching staff overall. Early on in the year, the defense just looked horrendous. And for the majority of the season, they haven't looked good. I can't look at this game and blame Harbaugh. But what about the past? What about the years upon years that we've seen John Harbaugh get outclassed in the playoffs? leave the run game and focus solely on Lamar's arm when you get to the wild card or divisional or conference championship game. He's been there how many years? 18 years, I think. I think Tomlin's been in Pittsburgh 19, Harbaugh 18 in Baltimore. I think it's time for a change. Regardless of if they make the playoffs this year, I just think this year has been a little bit too disappointing for me, personally. And if they miss the playoffs, I think it's pretty clear that you got to make some major adjustments. Major adjustments. Let's go Vikings 31, Commanders 0. Hey, look, I've bashed on J.J. McCarthy these last few weeks, but I will say throughout the year, and especially prior to the season starting, I believed in J.J., and I also said that despite the poor performances week after week, that we can't just write the kid off. Like, we can't write the guy off. Because at the end of the day, this is his rookie year. Technically speaking, it's his second season, but as a starter, it's his rookie season. A lot of growing pain. Kevin O'Connell. There have been moments I've questioned the job that he's done this season. Now, I'm not saying fire Kevin O'Connell. I'm not saying he's the problem. Listen, JJ just hasn't been very good this year. But look, today against the Commanders, JJ McCarthy finally looked like a first-round pick. Hell yeah. That is awesome. That's what I want to see. Make the praise just as loud as the hate. I got to give him my respect here. He cashed in on touchdowns. 3 passing TDs on the day. He was on page with his guys. He was accurate and on time with his out routes, something he has struggled with all year long. You can see him. You can visibly see him processing the field and going through the proper reads. Sometimes it's simply just a lack of arm talent. Or he's processing them just a little too slowly. And he's getting there just a half second too late, which is causing a turnover, an interception, or a pass breakup. But he's going through the right process. The truth is, consistency is key. And that's how you earn respect in the league. And J.J. McCarthy hasn't had that. But this was the best game of his NFL career. 170 yards, 3 touchdowns, 130 passer rating, 4 for 4 in trips to the red zone. You can't give up on the guy just yet. He has not been good this year. Do not get me wrong. But this was an encouraging game because I feel like Vikings fans, pardon me, my phone's blown up here. I think Mahomes just made a wild pass on Sunday Night Football. Back to J.J. McCarthy. I think at this point during the year, Vikings fans were like, all right, it's over, right? We don't have the quarterback play we needed. The Vikings have the pieces to be a Super Bowl team. They just needed quarterback play like that weekly, and they didn't get that. But at least you see this from JJ, and maybe it gives you a little bit of hope of like, okay, maybe we can develop the guy. Maybe it would be smart to bring in, I don't know, a vet, somebody that can kind of guide him. But I don't think it's right to just give him a year and that's it, or give him half a year with all the injuries that he's had. I will say that Brian Flores defense is serious. They forced 3 turnovers in the win over the Commanders, and the offense has so many playmakers, they've just missed the consistent quarterback play, which is what it boils down to here. That's the whole premise of the argument, is like, if JJ could just be an average QB, the Vikings would be in the playoff picture. They have a good enough team to go all the way. They just needed an average QB to manage the offense. And he didn't start out like that. And the team is built to win now. So it's partially on the front office for going for a rookie QB in a win-now situation when you knew there was a lot of risk involved there. But again, watching the game today and really watching JJ all year, like there have been moments he's been at the right spot as far as his read progression goes. It's just a late release, or he's getting to it just a split second too late. And in the NFL, like I started out talking in the video about saying, single play, a single call, a detail like that can cost you games when it turns out into an interception rather than a huge play offensively. So, bottom line, encouraging game from JJ. I believe we should give him props today for the job he did. And I don't think we can give up on him yet, despite seeing some pretty horrendous performances this year. It's a tough situation to walk into. A win-now team ready to go after a 14-15 win season last year, and you're expected to be the guy. I don't know. It's tough. The Commanders, who had a ton of success last year, who boasted a donut today, NFC Conference Championship team, looks like you got the best quarterback out of that draft last year. This season, I mean, it has been the exact opposite of what you expected. Listen, you look at the reality of the situation, and I said this before the season started, they're an old team. Terry McLaurin, who you just signed, he's an older receiver. They were the oldest average team heading into the year. I don't know where they are right now, but probably up there. Defense, super old. You got guys like Bobby Wagner. All my respect to him. He's a dog. But at some point, you got to get some youth in the system. It can't just be Jaden Daniels and, Zach Ertz. Like, these guys are good, but eventually Father Time's going to catch up. And I felt like with everyone taking steps forward with young cores in the NFC, you kind of should have been worried about this team and where they were trending. And now you're kind of seeing the negative effects of that. And today, listen, I'm all for getting healthy and rehabbing and coming back from injury. I understand. Because as a player, the last thing you want to do is sit on the sidelines, no matter what the record is. You want to be out there. But I do want to ask, how the hell do you play Jaden Daniels at this point of the year? That was coaching malpractice, what we saw. I'm no doctor, but strapping up that brace for a pretty serious injury and for a game that means nothing doesn't make any sense to me. I get that there's pride involved. I know that technically if you're deemed healthy, you're ready to go and you should be on the field. But think logically. Think about the future because you're out of the playoff picture. You're not making a run, especially with how the wild card situation looks. You're not coming close to the playoffs. Let the guy rest. Obviously, we wouldn't be talking about it if he didn't get injured again, but he did. And that was the risk you ran with starting Jaden Daniels only a few weeks after a pretty serious injury. Just look at Jaden Daniels. It doesn't look like there's a lot of weight on him. I'm just being realistic. Why not let the guy rest? Put some weight on. When I look at Jaden Daniels versus Josh Allen, it is very concerning, the size difference. I don't know how much Jaden weighs, but he looks like a fragile guy. Put a few pounds on. Maybe you won't be as quick, but the durability will be there. And then to rush him back, I was stunned today. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I know there are some older people who will hop in and say, no, that's the game. That's football. That's the nature of the beast. You're healthy, you're out there. We're in a different generation, I feel like now. I feel like we're at the point where you can make a decision that is future-focused. That you can say, hey, we're going to put our pride aside here. We're going to let our franchise guy relax. rest up so he's fully healed rather than putting him at risk for getting plastered to the ground on a pick six or on an interception, that to me would have been the logical decision. Maybe a hard decision to make, but the logical one. I don't know. You can disagree. That's fine. This is just personal preference. I just think it's unfortunate that the guy has now re-injured the same elbow that kept him out the last few weeks. And not to mention the injury looked pretty bad when it happened. Let's move over to Jags 36, Colts 19. Man, you want to talk about a team that has collapsed? The Indianapolis Colts, man. I don't know what has happened with the Colts this year, but the Colts are going to miss the playoffs. And this is an all-time collapse. Like an all-time collapse. They look like the best team in the NFL, sitting at 7-2. Jonathan Taylor was a top 3 MVP guy. Daniel Jones had resurrected his career. The offense and defense were playing complementary football. And now you've fallen to 8-5. The playoffs look like a one and done if you even get there. And now you're without your 2 first-round picks that you traded for Sauce Gardner. Good for them for going all in. But now what? Daniel Jones out for the season with a torn Achilles. Sauce Gardner injured. I mean, it doesn't look good at all. Ever since that Steelers game, they've been completely exposed, turning over the ball. They are 1-4 since they faced the Steelers, and this is looking like an all-time collapse. Because for 9 straight weeks, I truly believed the Colts looked like the best team in football. The offense did whatever it wanted. The defense was great. Even in the games they lost, they looked good. But this November-December stretch has hit them harder than ever. And I want to say, I'll pull it up here, but I want to say the rest of their schedule is tough. Who do they got? Seahawks, Niners, Jags, Texans. I don't think they win a single game. Not with Daniel Jones out for the rest of the year. I think they finish with 8 wins. They miss the playoffs. To me, that's a complete collapse. It's pretty sad what happened. And I feel bad for Daniel Jones because he comes back. He has a pretty phenomenal year considering all the haters, everyone that doubted him in New York. Pretty tough to see a guy like that go down. And your season's hopes just disappear in an instant, right? The Jags, on the other hand, I'm always torn with Trevor Lawrence. I never know what to think of him as a franchise guy. Like, I find myself always asking the same question, what's next for Trevor Lawrence? Because I don't know. You're paying the man $55 million per year with 1 playoff win to his name. And he has games where he looks like a franchise guy. Like today against Indianapolis, dropping dimes in a bucket, laser, sniper-like accuracy. And then you'll have a drive, a half, even a full game of football where you're not even sure he's a top 18 QB in the NFL. He's just not consistent. And by year 5, I kind of expected the consistency to figure itself out. But at this point, I feel like he is who he is. And Jacksonville's got to make a tough decision on whether or not to keep rolling with him year after year as the franchise guy with Liam Cohen, who's done a really good job this year. I love his energy. I love what he brings to the table. This is for sure. He's a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. That is for sure. It's not, questioning whether JJ is a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's very clear that Trevor Lawrence is, an average starter in the NFL, I would say. But is he going to propel you further than that? Or is that going to limit you? That's the decision you kind of have to make with him. The turnovers have always been a problem. There's always been the concern with pressure. But I feel like since Liam Cohen arrived, it's been a little bit better with Trevor. I feel like he's had a handful of games where he's looked a lot better than in previous years. And I feel like his better games outweigh the poor games, the poor performances. But they're still there. That's the problem. That's my thing. The bad games, the head-scratching performances, the concerning turnovers, still all there. And can you win with that? That's something they have to determine. The thing with the Jags, they can be elite if they want to be elite. Like, they started off hot, then they had this kind of gray period. They were dull. There wasn't really much going on. They were losing some games. Felt like they were just this early bang of a team where they went bang, 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 won a bunch of great games and kind of fell off. But now they're back on this high, and they looked phenomenal today. I mean, the defense forcing turnovers. Everyone felt electric. The offense, Jacoby Myers has been a huge pickup for this offense. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about him enough, but he deserves the respect coming from Vegas. He slotted in perfectly today. BTJ made a nice grab or two. Obviously missing Travis Hunter as well. Like, this offense has talent. ETN has been great. He was great today. Like, there are pieces here. If they want to be phenomenal, they can be. They can be a team that causes you a problem in the playoffs. They can be a team that wins their division, which is where they're at, where they're trending right now. They control their own destiny. Now it's all about the consistency of Trevor Lawrence, and can this team form into this unit that's not just a game or two you look phenomenal? Can we look great for the rest of the year now heading into the playoffs? Can we carry the momentum into January and play some just great, flat-out, great football, complimentary on both sides of the ball, all three units of the game, offense, defense, special teams, right to the Super Bowl? That's it. That's the story for every team, but specifically for the Jags, I feel like that's what we need. And it starts with Trevor Lawrence. This is going to be the big test. I would love to see him in the playoffs this year and see what he can do, because that, to me, will be the big tell of where his future lies and if the Jags view him really as the guy, because I still don't know if they do. Let's move to Seahawks 37, Falcons 9. Real quick, we'll recap this game, and then I want to talk Packers, Bears, and we'll wrap things up. My question for you about the Seahawks: can you trust Sam Darnold in the playoffs? Because I have trouble putting my faith in Sam Darnold until I'm proven otherwise. And I'm willing to be wrong. That's the thing. I'm willing to be wrong, but I don't want to trust what my eyes haven't seen. He really did not look good in the first half today against the Falcons. I think I love the defense, which gives me a lot more hope in this team and Sam Darnold. But I'm not so confident in Darnold under the bright lights in a big moment. The fact is, when Sam Darnold is in rhythm, he's going to be unbelievably hard to stop. And we saw that in the second half against the Falcons. But when he's off, you can almost always expect a collapse, a potential 4-interception game. And then you're relying heavily on your defense to clean up your garbage and help you win the game. And to me, when you get to the playoffs, when you're playing the Packers, the Eagles, the Rams, even the Bears, like, that's going to be tough to do. The Bears, who are a turnover machine, I mean, you get Sam Darnold, kind of shake him up. You kind of cause him a little bit of distress early on, get a turnover or two. To me, that's the key to the game. The way I see it, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm bringing all the pressure at Sam Darnold, and I'm doing everything I can to rattle him early so the rest of the game is just a domino effect of bad play after bad play after bad play where our offense just capitalizes. That's my only issue with Seattle, because otherwise, I love the team. I love Mike Macdonald. I think this defense is buzzing, and they have been pretty much all year long. And they smacked the Falcons, and they kept them in this game in the first half, and they turned over the ball, and they did everything and more today. The Falcons, I mean, how many times have I talked about them these past few weeks? It's pretty embarrassing. I feel bad for fans. I really expected more from them this year. I think James Pierce went out today with an injury. That's tough to see. You went out, you drafted him, you traded your pick to go up in the first round, grabbed him. He's been great. Like, the guys you've drafted, I feel like, have done good work for you. But for some reason, the pieces just, they're there, but they're not. You know, like, I think London is great. I think Kyle Pitts is still a great tight end in the league. I think he's extremely talented. I just don't think he's been used properly in Atlanta. Now, part of the problem is he's had drop issues. And since year one, the ongoing fantasy joke is you draft Kyle Pitts every year hoping for something different and nothing changes. But I'm watching him run routes against the Seahawks and make some pretty incredible catches. It's hard to believe that he's just this washed up tight end that had one great year and can't replicate that. I find that hard to believe. I don't know if it's an Atlanta problem. Maybe it's a Kyle Pitts issue. But with a change of scenery, or maybe a new OC that designs plays around Kyle Pitts. And listen, I haven't watched the Falcons too closely. Maybe I'm way off on this. But my thing is, like, I've watched Kyle Pitts run some routes just purely as a route runner and make some grabs. And I'm like, yeah, he's still got it. A guy like that, I just find it hard to believe just tapers off into nothing. So I still think you got him there. Obviously, Bijan, Algier is a good back. And the defense, like, you invested in it. Where has it been? Raheem Morris, I don't think there's ever been more heat on a coach to be fired. Like, I'm reading Falcons comments and seeing what the fans are saying after the games. And at this point, they're not even commenting fire Raheem Morris. They're just saying, go read my comment from 3 weeks ago. Go read my comment from last year. It's the same thing. They've stopped watching. It's the same story every week. And even when you got them close this week, even when you're tied or it's 6-3 at halftime, you can't pull away. You keep disappointing. And there's no point in taking without a first-round draft pick. You know what I mean? Like, it's just lose, lose, lose for this team. It sucks. Can't lie to you. Let's go Packers 28, Bears 21 to wrap up the episode. This game told me a lot about both teams. I've been skeptical about the Packers all year long. I haven't been willing to call them an A-tier team. Listen, with the momentum that they have, they could be extremely dangerous. The Bears, a lot of people call them frauds. But last week they went out, got a big W in Philly against the Eagles. This week they go toe-to-toe with the Packers. Damn near win the game. I mean, they had an opportunity to tie it with Caleb. I think they're real. Now, I wouldn't say that I picked them as a top option for the Super Bowl. I still think I'd go Rams, Packers, and Philly over them in the playoffs. I know they beat Philly, but playoffs are a little bit of a different beast. but they can compete. Like, their record is reflective of how good the team is. It's not just their easy cakewalk schedule. They are a good team, and they play pretty well, especially in the second half against the Packers. Now, the Packers, we'll talk Packers first here. Jordan Love has been a top 5 QB this year. Quietly, he's been phenomenal, and he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. But he has been the guy. Besides one interception today, he played lights out against the Bears. 17 of 25, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He was airing it out to Bo Melton, dime for a touchdown. Christian Watson, multiple touchdowns on the day. He's an accurate quarterback with great arm talent and upside. Minus the turnovers, which can look really bad, there is no knock on his game. The only thing you can say about his game has been the decision-making. And honestly, this year it hasn't been all that bad. To me, it's like, look, he's won multiple playoff games. Or he's won a playoff game. He's shown us that he can do it. He can get there. He is the third quarterback after Favre, Rodgers, Love. You believed in him. You paid him. He's well worth the $55 million. I think he's the guy. And now that you have Reed back and Watson back, with Tucker Kraft, it would be even better. Like, I don't know. I'm sold on Jordan Love as the top 10 QB. He will be in my top 10 list by the end of the year. I can guarantee you that. I've been on the fence about him, on the fence about a guy like Dak. I can guarantee you Jordan Love will be there. If he's not, you can come back to the episode and post this and clown me because I deserve it, because I just guaranteed you. The Packers as a team, like I said, I've criticized them this year. I haven't been sold on them, but right now, the Packers have the momentum going into the playoffs. They've had back-to-back phenomenal playoff atmosphere games, which they've won. Jordan Love is having his best season. Christian Watson is emerging as the guy. Jacobs in the run game looks really good, and the defense is always going to be a sturdy unit you can fall back on. These last 2 weeks have been some of the best Packer football I've seen since Aaron Rodgers left. The team is playing in unison. Defense looks great. Offense looks great. The offense seemed like today, like they were barely even on the field because they would go down and just score in an instant. Jordan Love, bomb touchdown. Jordan Love, quick little crosser. Christian Watson takes it to the house for 50 yards. Like, you got to give your defense a little bit of a break, but it's just a scoring machine right now. I think Matt LaFleur is a great coach. I think you can do it with him. I think people get after him for no reason. Like, he deserves a lot more credit than he gets. And there's a good reason why they own this division now. They're better than the Lions, better than the Vikings, and today they proved right now they're better than the Bears. But we'll see. I wouldn't say definitively. I'd say today they played better. They played a more complete game from start to finish, but they were also at home at Lambeau. Let's see what happens next week or in 2 weeks when they go to Soldier. It's going to be intense. It's going to say a lot about the character, not of this Packers team really, but of Chicago, I would say. Today, I learned a lot about Caleb Williams. I've talked about him a lot this year. You know, obviously there are some negative things you can pick out regarding his game and his style of play, but Caleb Williams has an elite future. He does. He's still so wildly inaccurate, which is just mind-boggling to me. Like, just complete the damn 5-yard flat route. It's not hard. It's crazy. He makes the easy look hard, and the hard looks so easy, so simple. He does things backwards. It doesn't make sense to me. But at the end of the day, like, who is making that pass on the run down the sideline, and then the touchdown on the run in the red zone. He doesn't take sacks against unblocked pressure. He's a magician maneuvering in the pocket. I wish he used his legs a little bit more when the chance is there, rather than forcing a throw. And I applaud his ability to scramble outside the pocket and keep his eyes downfield and always be ready to react and let a ball go within a millisecond and find your guy downfield. I appreciate that. You know, some quarterbacks just tuck their head down and they run. Caleb is always looking for the play, always looking for his guy. But sometimes the first down is there. And if you got it, you can take it. You're an athlete. You're a very athletic, above average athletic quarterback. Go take it with your legs. You know, put the team on your back. You got it. I think his growth this year has been absolutely phenomenal. It's been one of my favorite things to watch, I would say. Is Caleb Williams growing under Ben Johnson and the system? And early on, there were struggles, and there still are. Like, early in the first quarter today, like, I don't get it. Why was he airmailing wide open receivers? Wide-ass open receivers over the middle, but then he's got Zacchaeus on a rope with a sidearm pass on the run in the red zone. Like, that's still concerning to me. Like, that's it just doesn't make sense. It's very backwards. But, like, his growth under BG, or Ben Johnson, not BJ. Pause. Under Ben Johnson, has been awesome. I really do think so. And I think he's forming himself into a franchise guy. I think he's understanding the system more. And as he gets more comfortable, he has more freedom with what he can do. And that's where I like the athletic version of Caleb to pop out and say, hey, yeah, I understand the reads, but I also got this in my bag. Now watch me ball out. The late interception, we can talk about it really quickly. It is what it is, right? Like, you're a little bit short on the pass. You're fading away, throwing off your back foot on the run. Could it have been better? For sure. Like, did that ball need to be at the back pylon for Kmet to get under it? Yes. Was it short? For sure. But, you know, it's a tough place to be. I thought it should have been a run, that play call at 4th and 1, but who am I to question Ben Johnson, especially with what he's done? I mean, they're a good team under Ben Johnson. So I'm not going to criticize the play calling there, but it was a bad interception, but not the end of the world, I would say. I still think that he's been pretty great, and he had a good second half today. My last point on the Bears, to wrap things up, the Bears proved they're not just a joke today. They went toe-to-toe with a team we all think can go all the way. They took down Philly last week in Philly and then almost beat the Packers. Ben Johnson has saved this offense. The run game is one of the best I've watched this year, with Monangai and Swift producing at high levels against any defense. You've invested in your O-line and it's paying off. How about the play calling? How about Ben Johnson's play calling and the pure eye discipline you're testing on the opposing defense? This team has a lot of talent. This team has a lot of fight. This team has a lot of potential. And they are not, let me pull up the record here. I believe they're 9-4. Yes. They're not 9-4 because they've had an easy schedule. They're 9-4 because they were a good team. And these past few weeks, they've been tested. And in my opinion, they've lived up to the hype. I think this is great for Chicago. I think the world is a better place. I think the NFL is a better league when the Bears are winning. I'm rooting for Chicago. Seriously. Like, I don't know. I just think that they're a cool, historic franchise that has not had a lot of success. But now that they are, like, I want to see them succeed. It's kind of how I felt about the Lions and how I still feel about them. Like, I want that franchise to get its Super Bowl. I want the Bears to find Just incredible success with this duo, and take it and run and go do something special. And I think regardless of what happens this year, hopefully they can make the playoffs. Crazy to say that at 9-4, but you look at the playoff landscape with the records and the wild card, it's going to be tough. And the Bears actually have some really tough games coming up besides the Browns, who still have a good defense. You still got to compete now with Shadur Ball. And talk about the Browns tomorrow, by the way. I'm really heated about that. Steve's coming on. We're going to talk about them. I digress, though. I think the Bears, regardless of what happens, have an opportunity to do something special here. And I'm excited for them. That is a wrap. That is over an hour for Week 14 Sunday afternoon recap. Thank you so much for being with me. It's honestly my favorite part of the week. I can't wait to go and now slice this all up, get you all the content for the week that you need to get prepared for a big Week 15. Don't forget, tomorrow night, like I just mentioned, Monday Night Recap, me and Steve going at it for Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football, we'll talk Browns, Titans. Right now we're doing Bucks, Saints 2, maybe something else. Who knows? In the meantime, please stay safe. Have a wonderful sleep, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out.